In the video today, we'll be going over how to pay your tax form, which is the Modelo 790 Código 12, or 790 Code 12. It's essentially the tax that you have to pay in order to get the TA card. A proof of payment of this tax is required at the appointment. So let's get started. The tax form that you would like to be filling out today is going to be on the website of the Policía Nacional, the TASO Modelo 790 Código 012. It will be at this specific URL. Unfortunately, there is no PDF that I've been able to find that you can fill out by itself, but this website essentially does it all. It takes all of your information and generates a document that you can then print out, bring to the bank, and have as your proof of payment. As we said before, our example applicant is first name, last name. His número de identidad extranjero, we're going to put our last name, apellidos, and nombre. In this case, first name, last name did have a middle name. Once that is done, we're going to go to the domicilio. We went over how to read types of addresses in the TA EX17 form video. So if you missed that, go back and check. I believe on our TA form, first name, last name, lived at an apartment on Calle del Corazón de María. This form looks a little different than what we did on the TA because in domicilio, they separate the tipo de vía and the nombre de la vía. So we don't just put Calle del Corazón de María, we put tipo de vía, calle, and then in the nombre, we put del Corazón de María. Número is the same, it's separate. Escalera is just a stair if you have one stair or another. In this case, we just have the piso 3 and the puerta derecha. Your telephone number, remember to put a country code if you need it. Otherwise, have your Spanish phone number ready. Your municipio is going to be wherever you live. So that's the same thing as your localidad. It's your municipality. It's the city within the region of Madrid. If you have a municipality, it will show up in your address when you look it up on like Google Maps or something. The main thing to know is that if you live in the center of Madrid, it will just say Madrid. It won't say something else and then Madrid. So in that case, just like in the case of first name, last name, both your municipio and your localidad will be Madrid. And in this case, his código postal was. Once all of your information and the identificación section is complete, let's scroll down. You do not have to choose anything here. Principal should already be chosen. Don't click anything here. It will be loaded once you create the tax form. Next, we're going to choose the reason why we are paying the tax. Scroll down to
Tarjetas de identidad de extranjeros y certificados de registro de residentes comunitarios.
Right, so this is the TA tax section. We're going to choose this first option here.
TIE que documenta la primera concesión de la autorización de residencia temporal de estancia o para trabajadores transfronterizos.
It is your first time getting the TA, and this is the first time TA tax. In this box, it's essentially the digital signature. So just write where you are while you're signing this form. In this case, first name, last name is in Madrid, and the date is already preloaded, so you don't have to worry about it. And finally, it will show you the ingreso or the tax. This is preloaded from our selection above. So if it's anything except 1608 for the year of 2022 for the first concesión of the TA, go back up and make sure you made the correct choice. I'm going to elect that we pay in efectivo, but I think now you can pay with your IBAN. So if you have a Spanish bank account, you should be able to pay for this form online, and the printed form will suffice as a proof of payment, which is really cool. But today we don't have an IBAN. We're going to pay en efectivo. Finally, we're going to complete the CAPTCHA. Just know that if the text CAPTCHA doesn't work, you can always listen to it.
Botella.
In this case, it's botella. You just click descargar impreso. Here it is. As you can see, you get your specific barcode. It says the year, the model, and the code of the tax. All of your personal information should be here. Everything is preloaded here. Principal, the number of the justificante, and your reason as well should be checked off. Finally, at the bottom, it says how much you owe. You have 3 pages. They constitute 1 copy for the bank or financial institution where you are paying the tax, 1 copy for the TA appointment itself, and 1 copy for you to keep. So sign all 3 of those. On the last page of this document, you do have an instruction page, as you do with most forms issued by the Spanish government. Once you have this form, you've downloaded it and printed it out, we're going to move on to the next task, which is to actually go and pay the tax. In order to pay the tax, you have 3 options. The first is what we mentioned before. You use your Spanish bank account and you use your IBAN on that Policía Nacional page to pay the tax online. The second way to do it is going in person to a bank. Personally, this is my favorite option. Go to any bank, you don't have to be a customer, and you go in and ask to pay a tax, a kind of arbitrary rule that happens in Spanish banks. And this depends on the bank itself, the branch, the office, the person that you're talking to. I recommend going in to pay a tax before 10 a.m. 10 a.m. is kind of the time a bank stops taking walk-in appointments and only takes appointments either from members or those that have been previously made. If you go in person to a bank, remember that they will take one copy for themselves, and they will also likely issue you either a stamp on the copies that you have or some kind of receipt like a letter, for example. Third option is to pay the tax at an ATM. Most ATMs allow you to pay the tax, but do know that this is not a surefire method 100% of the time. To pay the tax at an ATM, all you have to do is go up to any ATM. Once again, it can be any branch, any bank. Follow the on-screen instructions to pay a tax form. Once you get to a certain point, you should be prompted or be able to put in the barcode numbers. Usually there's a little scanner on the ATM that allows you to just scan the barcode and it'll load all of the information needed. Pay in cash, or sometimes you're able to pay with a credit card, and you'll get a receipt from that ATM saying that you paid the tax. Whichever way you decide to pay your tax, whether in person at an ATM or online using your Spanish bank account number, make sure that at the end of the day, you have some kind of proof of statement, whether that is a stamp, a letter, a printed confirmation, or just simply an ATM receipt. The proof of payment of the tax, along with your copy of the tax form, are the two pieces of documentation that you will need to bring to the TA appointment. After you've paid the tax, you've completed one more step towards completing your TA application. So far, we've gone over paying the tax form, doing the EX17, and getting the appointment. Next, we'll be talking about empadronamiento. See you then.